Namaste, one and all, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Yes, my energy is not the same this time around. After that disheartening, just I don't even have words to describe that type of loss. 2 goals that we literally just gave up. 2 goals they scored within 5 minutes to kind of take back the lead after we had just scored to tie it up. From the first minute, it was disappointing. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we are still in the football frenzy, in the World Cup frenzy, and it keeps on moving. Just like the round of 16 that, unfortunately for our United States men's national team, they got knocked out, along with the other co-hosts as well. So, some positives, some negatives, I guess. Moving on, though, it is the quarterfinals, and they are already here. Just a day's break. It was kind of weird not having, football for a day after pretty much having it throughout the summer. But we're getting a great one going down in just a few moments. It is France taking on Morocco. Two best friends in Mbappe and Hakimi going at it. Two captains for both of their nations, and it should be interesting to see. I do have France prevailing in this one, and it is not just because of their offense, because yes, their offense obviously phenomenal, and even on Morocco's side, I spoke on Hakimi and his captainship, but it's really Saibari who has been the standout player up top for them, really outside of France. Probably one of the, or maybe even England, one of the more lethal strikers that has been in this World Cup. Kind of reminds me of Diego Forlan back in 2010, for people who want to feel old. And then, but in this matchup, I do actually want to focus on the France midfield and defense. Why do I say that? While everybody, kind of clowns everybody, or kind of clowns Adrian Rabiot, there's 10 world-class player, and somehow, someway, he always makes it there. And the interesting and the fun fact is, yes, he is always there. He is reliable, and he has been for the French national team. And sometimes you need players like that. And I think even in the last matchup where, Tchouaméni wasn't there due to injury, maybe it was a contract situation, whatever it may have been, he is probably past that now, just signed a new long-term extension. So at least mentally he has that relaxation for him, that he's not moving. He has that, stable situation with the club. With the national team, he could completely focus on winning the World Cup, along with Mbappe being a club teammate as well. So that just goes along with, making Real Madrid successful again. Also, Buadi on the other side, you have to mention him. He has been a gem. Former, I think he was under 21 captain for France as well. So there's history there. That should be interesting to see how, if any French players, have any animosity towards that, or he does towards them, or if there is any black blood in a sense. But I think, when the captains are best friends in a sense, I don't think that's going to be there. Obviously, they're going to fight for their nations. They're going to be competitive. Sometimes it might, even between those two guys, it might get a little chippy, but I don't think it's gonna, be any bad blood post matchup. Whoever does end up winning, like I mentioned, I do have France coming out on this one, unfortunately. Sorry, Morocco, but I would not be surprised if Morocco were to go through as well. They have the talent. They have been building for a few years. I don't know if they were AFCON champions, but they are AFCON winners. So, he's there. Also, I want to, shout out Brahim Diaz. While Michael Olise has been getting all the praise for his deserved performances, well, pretty much with Bayern and with the French national team, I think he's close to setting up the assist record. But at the same time, Brahim Diaz is doing phenomenal work with himself as well. And yeah, there are pieces like El Canous, there are other guys, but when you look at the French attack, I didn't want to, but you have to kind of mention them. You have Ousmane Dembele, Olise, Mbappe, Doué, like, it just goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. So they have to find a way, if it even does get down to penalties. Bono against, Mike Magnan, I think maybe Bono has the advantage there with his previous experiences in those type of situations, but hey, Mike Magnan's a international AC Milan I think he might have gotten the captainship at some point, but he's definitely in that leadership group as well. So, there's definitely pieces on both sides that can be match winners. I just think France just are unstoppable at this current juncture, and not just because of the offense that everybody obviously loves, but because of that midfield, that defense, and everybody just working in cohesion. Going back to it, I don't want to keep mentioning those type of situations, but the death of Deschamps' mom, like, that goes a long way into adding motivation. Now you have the Paraguay situation as well with Mbappe, so there's just a whole bunch of situations that just adds more fuel to the fire. And I think they fire on through to the next round. We will see what happens, so stay tuned in for that. But moving on, you already know what it is. The jersey, it is Spain taking on Belgium. It could have been us, maybe should have been us, but we did not come off the bus with the intention to go through. So it is Belgium that the Spain national team will be facing. This one, obviously, you see the jersey. I am taking Spain. Unfortunately, in the last matchup, I did have Portugal actually here outside of Spain as well. So it was, slaps from both hands and double L's in this matchup. But that double L kind of makes a dub for this Spain national team. Why do I say that? I'm not trying to be a hater, but I have not seen Lamine Yamal standout game at this World Cup so far. So it has been brewing. Nuno Mendes took a lot out of him. The midfield maybe kind of focused more on Lamine and forgot that they also have to attack. For Portugal, and respectfully for Belgium, I think, De Kuiper and Castagne, they're solid, but facing like Lamine Yamal, that's a tough task. Even the top 3 left backs in the world, they, have to rest the night before. And it is what it is. And, Oyarzabal, he has had his moments. He's been scoring, free-flowing. I think he's closing up. Well, he's climbing up the Spain national team goal-scoring chart. And then you also have Nico Williams. He has been hurt, kind of like Lamine at the beginning of the competition, but he is currently, but they still have found a way. Ferran Torres, or it's, I think Alex Baena, he has been getting more minutes right now. Or if you want to, even look into the midfield, Mikel Moreno came in. He has, gotten a decent amount of rest with his injury. Whatever you want to say about it. Fabian Ruiz, same thing with PSG. He's got, at least physically, the rest that he probably has been needing over the last few years, kind of like the other midfield of PSG. But those can be just looked at as excuses. So we will get past that. But Luis de la Fuente has put in a system that has worked for numerous years, numerous competitions. They have won competitions in the past. Belgium, maybe their last of this golden generation kind of shines through. You have Courtois, you have Lukaku still there. Lukaku and De Ketelaere can take advantage of the partnership between Laporte and Kubarsi, but we're gonna have to see how compact that center back duo stays, how far back Rodri comes back to kind of help them out, how that defense is kind of set up against that offense, what Doku looks like, does he even start, what KDB looks like, does he start, what Rudy Garcia has up his sleeve. I think the matchup that and the game plan that he came up with against us was phenomenal, but it is what it is. We're gonna have to see what the next round looks like after that. Moving on, Norway against England. We are going to take England. Come on, Jude Bellingham. Come on, Harry Kane. I think the way that they showed out in Mexico, they have a chance to go all the way. Is it coming home? I don't know. You guys are going to have to stay tuned in. We're going to have to stay tuned in to this game and to the matchups going forward. But in this one, I think, unfortunately, the rowing, I've been supporting. I took you guys over Brazil. And this one, it's going to be tough for me. The familiarity that, the Norway team will have against the Premier League opposition, it does help out. But at the same time, there is a guy like Jude Bellingham that's there that you don't really see in the Premier League, so you can't really, counteract for him. How do you guard him? Like his first goal in Mexico, the way he moved, I think it was Alvarado. He left him. He went straight in. I think it was Sanchez on the back post. He couldn't really get up to him, and he scored the header. 1-0 England. So, something like that between Harry Kane and Jude. They can, I think, carry it. Also, Anthony Gordon has come to life. The fullbacks, they are questionable, but I think they will suffice against this attack. Oscar Bob on one side, Nusa on the other. If they were to, show out here, maybe some Premier League teams do look at him. Well, I think Bob already got his move to Fulham, but for Nusa, maybe some team sees him and possibly brings him in, like a Newcastle, Everton, somebody else in, just the tier above the top 6. And then maybe he gets his move very, very soon. Moving on to the final matchup at hand. It is Argentina taking on Switzerland. And I am going with, obviously, Switzerland. The Messi fans have been, well, they obey their masters. And that's kind of what it is. Their master came out. Their master was magical. But there are other situations and other stuff surrounding it. So, yeah. First time I didn't go with Switzerland. Last time I did it with Colombia, and this time as well, even against the defending World Cup champions. I do believe the ones who survived barely survived against Egypt with, you could say multitude of reasons outside of that magical run from Messi as well. But, I am rocking with the Swiss. We'll see what happens. First, I want to say Swiss competition that I've watched without Xhaka. And last time out, I missed him. Maybe it is for him. But there's Granit Xhaka, and he's been absolutely phenomenal. While he did not commit to coming to Chelsea, and he has committed to staying at Sunderland, shout out to him. Maybe because of that loyalty as well, I am becoming more loyal to the Swiss. So it is the red of the Swiss I am choosing over the blue of Argentina. Yes, you could call me a hater, whatever it is, and we will see what, post-match, what it looks like. Maybe, hey, FIFA got to take their darling all the way to the finals. Maybe it is what it is. At least until the matchup, or at least until that third place game that is about to happen in Miami. Maybe that's what it is for Messi. But I do have the Swiss. We'll see what happens with Manzambi. But if he is to play, you have Manzambi, you have Mbolo, you have Xhaka, like I mentioned, and then you have two solid center backs that have, experience. And then you have Kobo, who played phenomenal in the last matchup. Like Yamal that I mentioned earlier, Martinez has not had really that big of a signature moment. He's had some shithousery moment after his World Cup win, but it's because of that World Cup win that enabled him. But after that, now it's been 4 years, unless he wins it again. Like, he is going to start losing that confidence. And as a goalkeeper, if you start losing that confidence on the other side, Kobo with that performance starts gaining that confidence. It is what it is. And yeah, so I do have the Swiss. Moving on there. Starting back from the top, it is France and Morocco. We are rocking with France. Shout out to the Moroccan fans. They always do show out. Spain against Belgium. You already know what it is. We are taking that. Hopefully they give them that ass whooping like we received. And then let's see you try to do the Trump dance. And then there is Norway against England. Shout out to the Vikings. Hopefully everybody comes to the matchup healthy, comes to the matchup ready. There is that sickness or virus, whatever the case might have been. But yeah, I hope they come out to the matchup healthy against England, and it is going to be a phenomenal matchup. Next one, it is Argentina, Sweden. Like I mentioned, we are taking the Swiss against Argentina and Messi, but we will see if we, survive or suffer, just like Argentina's World Cup chances. You already know what it is every time. It's all love and